Thanks for tuning in. I'm Melissa Dalman for Finance News. Joining me today is Chief Executive Officer from Immutep, Marc Voigt. Marc, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
Immutep has recently announced new trial data with your lead product candidate FD in patients with second-line non-small cell lung cancer. What results did you see?
Indeed, I believe we see encouraging results. First of all, it's important to understand the setting for those patients. They fail under best available standard of care, so usually anti-PD-1 therapies such as Keytruda, for instance, or the majority in our clinical trial, anti-PD-1 therapies plus traditional chemotherapy, so even under the combination. And those patients typically see a tumor progress after a while. This is confirmed by a CT scan, and then the patients are required to have a second CT scan 4 weeks thereafter in order to confirm that progress of the tumor. It's a tough setting for the patients, of course, but it's a requirement for our clinical trial because we would like to exclude any patients which have a so-called pseudo-progression, so where you see inflammation around the tumor, T cells attacking the tumor, so in reality a tumor shrinkage. So I believe we have here one of the toughest settings in the industry, and it's practically, if you like, a rescue mission for those patients failing under best available standard of care. And indeed, we see a benefit, a clinical benefit for around about 36% of patients. So it's stabilization of disease or even a so-called partial response to tumor shrinkage. And this together with the tumor dynamics, change of tumor dynamics, together with the very good safety compared to the other option, which is chemotherapy, I believe is very encouraging.
That's great to hear. So how does this treatment compare to other cancer treatments for this particular space?
So in second-line non-small cell lung cancer, there's unfortunately not a lot you can provide to these patients, especially not if they got an anti-PD-1 therapy in first line. Again, therapies such as Keytruda, for instance, or Opdivo. So the typical option is chemotherapy. And chemotherapy, like docetaxel, is unfortunately very toxic. So the majority of the patients has severe side effects, so-called grade 3 or grade 4, more than 50% of patients actually. So it's not a good option to have. And also the median overall survival for those patients is, according to different studies, just between 6 to 9 months. So it's really a terrible setting, and to make a difference there, which is very difficult, is our mission.
So in essence, would you say that the FD lead product versus the current treatments out there could appear to be somewhat of a, let's say, a safer option to these patients?
A safer option, and maybe future data needs to show that also better in terms of overall survival. We will release more data throughout the year. So indeed, yes, safer and hopefully better.
Thanks for that, Marc. And just to remind our viewers, where are you at in terms of the phase of the clinical trials?
So in second-line non-small cell lung cancer, as in first-line non-small cell lung cancer, we are in phase 2 stage. So I believe you know that we have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So we are in a mid-stage of development for lung cancer.
What is the market size of this actual industry?
Lung cancer is the biggest cancer indication. It's, if you like, really a crown jewel in immuno-oncology, so it's very important. It's one of the leading causes of death in cancer. And it's, of course, also commercially, given the high unmet medical need, commercially very attractive. It's estimated that's between 25 to 30 billion US dollars annually in the coming years.
Last question. Do you think a clinical trial will be set up to seek regulatory approval?
That's an important question. Indeed, in second-line non-small cell lung cancer, as well as in other options, the data is currently pointing into the direction that future clinical development towards a registration could be feasible. Of course, this will take certain prerequisites. We need to carefully evaluate our different options, but the current data seems to be a good fundament to move ahead also in this indication.
Marc, it was great to speak with you. Very insightful, and I look forward to seeing this unfold.
Thank you so much.